The leaks happened when the propane truck was rerouted and directed under this bridge because of a car accident. The two valves on top of the tanker were knocked off and gas started spurting into the air. Firefighters were unraveling hoses and dousing the propane tanker with water. They were trying to disperse the highly combustible liquid propane.
Please leave your home and head east towards Christie Street.
At first, firefighters tried to transfer the propane from the leaking truck into another tanker. That would have taken about 6 hours. Then they changed their minds and decided to plug the leaks with 2 giant patches and some straps to wrap around the tanker. Once the leaks were plugged, the propane source was contained. Now the truck got a police escort back to Cambridge, where it came from. Regina Hickel-Sabo, CBC News, Toronto.
This tells us a big scare was sparked by a propane leak from a tanker truck.
The first call went out at 10:44 this morning, and City Pulse was on the scene minutes later. So that is propane leaking out of there.
That's what it is, yeah.
This guy's the driver, and I phoned his company.
They just come over the radio there. My boss is on the way down. He's coming down the alley.
They can plug it, apparently.
This car accident on DuPont forced the tanker to be diverted upshot, and that's where the trouble began. As you can see, propane is pouring out the tanker. It lost a pressure release valve coming under the railway bridge at DuPont Street. Police are now evacuating a quarter-mile area.
All residents of Marshall Street, if you could please come out of your houses and move to the west end of the street. We have an emergency situation.
Sorry, ma'am, you don't want to stick around.
So you lost the valve coming under the bridge there?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
You didn't think, did it not say what the clearance was?
Yeah, it says 3.6. I thought I could get under. Ordinarily, if my stack clears, the tank will clear. But it just didn't quite.
3 schools and dozens of homes were evacuated. So how are you going to get rid of the propane?
Dispersing it with water lines right now.
You're going to have to get it out of the truck at some point. Propane continued to pour into the air for more than 2 hours as another tanker siphoned off the gas and firefighters kept the whole scene cool. Finally, the leaks were capped and the tension eased. Avi Lewis for City Pulse Tonight.
The tanker truck was moved to Cambridge at mid-afternoon and residents were allowed to return to their homes. And a chemical scare tonight on Eglinton Avenue East. The spill of a substance from a truck sent emergency crews and the Ministry of Environment rushing to the scene. Upon close inspection, it turns out the liquid is not as dangerous as first thought. It is now being analyzed at a government lab. After 3 years of analysis,
Propane tanker after 4 tense hours. Police moved quickly to remove people from homes, schools, and a senior citizens lodge in the DuPont Christie area of the city. The truck struck a low bridge, ripping open 2 relief valves on its storage tank. CFTO's Kate Wheeler reports.
This was the sound heard for blocks this morning as propane spewed from 2 holes on the top of a pro-transit propane tanker. The driver, Jack McComb, had been detoured onto Shaw Street just north of DuPont because of a traffic accident. He misjudged the clearance of a railway bridge.
Well, I come under the bridge, and the bridge is too low for the truck. And it cleaned the relief valves off the top of the tank. And that's why the propane's spurting out.
Because of the nearby traffic accident, firefighters were on the scene almost immediately. They doused the truck with water to cool 25,000 liters of propane, which, if ignited, could virtually blow the neighborhood away. Realizing the danger, police moved quickly to evacuate about 1,000 people out of a quarter-mile area around the scene. 15-year-old Joe Batista was homesick this morning. He says he heard the strange hissing noise and alerted his family.
So then I called my mom, go, "Ma, get your coat and get out." And called Daddy and let's get out. And I got my dog. We all left. I was shaking in there.
Just after 2, emergency crews successfully capped the second valve on the top of the propane tanker. The truck then headed back to ProTransit's company base in Cambridge under police and fire escort. Kate Wheeler, CFTO News.
Emergency crews who supervised the evacuation of the area say that because of their emergency measures and planning, the operation was a complete success. The evacuation included more than 1,000 residents and school children. Austin Delaney has more.
Soon after authorities realized the potential danger of the propane leak, they moved quickly to get people out of the area. Police were going door to door and using bullhorns to warn residents. Because propane is heavier than air, fire officials say it falls to the ground pools and can get into basements. It could explode there. In 1963, a propane leak at the Superior Propane Yard in Maple, north of Metro, resulted in an explosion. The fire burned for 2 days. One man was killed. A valve was found buried in the ground over a mile away. Today, people in the area bounded by Terrell Avenue to DuPont and Christie to Delaware Avenue were evacuated. That included students at 3 schools, St. Bruno Separate, Winona, and McMurrick Public. The Lambert Lodge Seniors Home was also evacuated. Despite the number of people involved, officials say the evacuation went extremely well. All the planning paid off.
Everybody did what they were supposed to do.
Staff Superintendent Jim Clark says emergency services are ready for this.
We do a lot of emergency planning. Our emergency measures group works for the force, works with all the agencies that are here today. So it's just a matter of putting everything in procedures and doing it.
After the truck had left for Cambridge, Consumers Gas workers headed for each house in the neighborhood with detector packs, which measure gas levels. Once a house was given the all clear, residents were allowed back in. Austin Delaney,